Hey boys and girls, it's Teacher Robert. Thanks for having me come back to talk to you guys again this week. I'm so excited to be here. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about a letter that was written to Timothy that helped encourage him to be who he was meant to be. But first, let's go to the memory verse.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh, boys and girls, hello, nice to meet you. It's Deep Dive Dev here today, and we are about to get into our memory verse. Now, if this is your first time doing it, this is what you do. I'm gonna say one part of the memory verse, and you're gonna repeat me exactly the way I do it. Exactly, perfection. All right, let's get into it, but let me grab my gear real quick. Let me grab my gear. Okay, here we go. So, let the guy chicken. Cut. Guys, I can't do that with the gear. The gear, no, I can't do that. I can't. And plus, I didn't even hear them that well. We need to do that over again. Can we do that over again, please? Yeah, okay, let's do it again, Okay, boys and girls, let's get ready. Let's catch the wave. Here we go, repeat after me. Psalms 139, 14. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go, how you made me is amazing and wonderful. I praise you for that. Let's do that one more time. I praise you for that. What you have done is wonderful. I know that very well. Psalms 139, 14. Woo! Boys and girls, I lost my boogie. We catch that biggest wave ever. Great job, but it's unfortunately my time to go. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
In today's story, we're learning about a letter in the Bible called 1 Timothy. Now, this letter is one of 21 letters written in the New Testament. And back then, these letters were normally written to churches. However, a couple of these letters were written to specific people. And in this case, this letter was written to Timothy. That's right, you guessed it. That's why we call it 1 Timothy. Now, Paul wrote this letter to his young friend, Timothy. And it is said that Paul one time visited the town that Timothy was from, called Lystra. And there, while he was visiting, Timothy's mother and grandmother heard Paul talking about Jesus and decided to give their life and dedicate it to believing in Jesus. And we learn that later on, Timothy did the same thing. He began to learn about Jesus and wanted to learn more and dedicated his life to Jesus. And so he went around town doing these great things, living his life for Jesus, showing love, acting kindly, being nice. And when Paul came back to visit Lystra, he heard all these great things about this young man named Timothy. Well, Timothy and Paul actually became really close friends, and Paul invited Timothy to go with him to tell other people about Jesus. And they became such close good friends that Paul sometimes would tell Timothy to go visit churches in situations where he couldn't go. And so one day after all of these visits to churches, Paul decided to make Timothy one of the heads of the church in the city called Ephesus. Now, Ephesus was this big, bustling city that was full of people from all kinds of different backgrounds, kind of like a city that you might be from. And because there were so many people with different backgrounds, some people believed in Jesus, some people didn't. And one day what happened is people were saying false or untrue things about Jesus. Now, with Timothy being one of the heads of the church, you imagine this is something that he is supposed to address. And with him being such a young man, this seemed like a big challenge for him. Imagine if you all of a sudden were asked to stand up to people who are saying bad things about Jesus, right? You might be a little bit nervous at first. And so that's why Paul went ahead and wrote this letter to Timothy. And in this letter, he told him, don't be afraid of people who might look down on you, but be encouraged and set the example for them with the way that you speak, with your actions, with the way that you love others, in purity and kindness. And that's just exactly what Timothy needed to hear. He needed that encouragement to know that even though he was young, that didn't mean anything. he could still be effective in God's kingdom. And I think that was a good reminder for us to look back on and know that even though you and I might be young, you might feel like you're just a kid. What can I do? How can I affect change? That Jesus has given you everything you need to be effective for him. It doesn't have to come in major ways. It can come in the way that we act, in the words that we speak, in the way that we love people. Are we kind? Are we nice? When Teacher Robert was young, my mom used to always tell me, attitude changes everything. And if you walk around with a bad attitude all the time and you're mean and you're not nice, guess what? People are going to see you and they're going to think, whoa, Teacher Robert, he goes to church and that's how he acts? Or people are going to go, man, I like being around Teacher Robert because he's always so nice, he's kind, he's helpful. I want to maybe get to know about this Jesus that he serves. I want to maybe get a chance to go to this church that he goes to because there's something about you that reflects who God is. And so this was a great story for us to also realize that we can do the same in our own lives. You and I can be kind, we can show love, we can speak life into people. And people will want to get to know about this God that you believe in and this church that you go to and discover more about him and maybe eventually dedicate their lives to him just like Timothy did. All right, boys and girls, you might have heard today's lesson and thought to myself, you know what, Teacher Robert, I want to dedicate my life to God. I want to be able to be effective in God's kingdom just like Timothy was, but I don't know where to start. And that's okay. If you want to be able to do this, all we're going to do is say a prayer. Jesus, I believe that you were the Son of God, that you came here to die on the cross for me, and I want to dedicate my life to you. I want to be effective for your kingdom and show the love of God to others. All right, boys and girls, if you said that prayer, congratulations. You are now a part of God's kingdom. And now let's go out into the world and be effective for God's kingdom. Let's show God's love. Let's be kind. Let's be helpful. Let's be encouraging and do all these things to reflect God.